Says the old man in The Power of Drama. This happened to Max when he moved into a new apartment in an old Stalinka building. The apartment was on the 7th floor, with high ceilings, and strangest of all, a huge, antique mirror in the hallway that seemed to be cemented into the wall. The beginning of oddities. The first few weeks were great. The building was quiet, the neighbors were discreet. The only oddity was the mirror. It didn't reflect the room like regular glass. It reflected twilight. No matter the time of day, even when the sun was flooding the hallway, the mirror always held a deep, bluish gloom. Max joked that it was a portal to eternal evening. The strange occurrences started when he began noticing things in the reflection that weren't in reality. First, it was a shadow. A quick, fleeting shadow in the corner of his hall, which he could only see in the mirror. When he turned to look at the spot, there was nothing there. Then, a silhouette. Every time Max walked past the mirror, he thought he saw not himself, but someone else. A tall, stooped man in an old coat, standing right behind him. But as soon as he stopped, the silhouette vanished, and he saw himself, tired after work. The neighbor's call. One evening, his elderly downstairs neighbor, Mrs. Harrison, called him. "Max, dear, is it quiet up there? No one has lived on the 7th floor for a long time, but I keep hearing things being dragged across the floor at night. What are you moving all the time?" she asked with concern. Max tensed up. "Mrs. Harrison, I'm a deep sleeper. I don't move anything. I usually go to bed early." "Oh, but you do," she insisted. "It's a heavy, scraping sound, as if someone is dragging furniture in a circle. At 1 in the morning. I hear it right above me." Scraping and dragging. At 1 in the morning? Max lived alone. That night, Max couldn't sleep. He lay there and waited. Exactly at 1:05 a.m., he heard it. A quiet, yet distinct, drawn-out sound. Scrape, grind, drag. The sound was coming from inside his apartment. It was close. Max slowly got up. He knew the sound was coming from the hallway, from the place where the mirror hung. The truth in the reflection. He grabbed a heavy flashlight and headed for the hall. Standing before the mirror, he turned on the light, brightly illuminating the room. In the real hallway, there was nothing that could be dragged. The rug was flat, the coat rack was in place. But in the mirror, in the reflection, he saw his hallway, but everything about it was wrong. The ceiling was covered in cracks, the wallpaper peeling off in patches, and in the middle of the room stood that same stooped man in the coat. He was kneeling, grasping something large, black, and square, a heavy chest of drawers or a trunk, and he was dragging it in a circle, dragging it and dragging it across the filthy parquet floor. This was the exact scraping sound the neighbor had heard. Max saw himself in the mirror, standing next to the man. His reflection looked pale, frightened. The man lifted his head and looked at the reflection. He wasn't looking at Max. He was looking at Max's reflection. And then he realized the most terrifying thing. This mirror didn't just reflect another room. It reflected their time. A time when this man lived here and, judging by appearances, had gone mad. The man in the reflection finally let go of his trunk and slowly, with effort, straightened up. He He lifted his withered hand and pointed at Max's reflection. His lips moved silently. He was pointing at the corner of the hallway. "Go to her," whispered a silent scream from the looking-glass, and at that very moment the old, filthy chest of drawers from the reflection suddenly protruded from the mirror surface, turning into reality. It crashed to the floor of Max's hallway with a deafening thud, heavy, wooden, antique. It was covered in centuries of dust, and underneath it was a deep, fresh scratch on the parquet, the exact kind made by dragging. Max, stunned, staggered back. He looked at the mirror. The stooped man was gone. The reflection was back to just his hallway in eternal twilight. But in the spot where the chest of drawers had stood, there was now a clean, empty square on the dusty parquet. And then he understood what the man was shouting when he pointed at his reflection. He was screaming, "Go to her! Go to her, not to me!" And the chest of drawers in Max's hallway, the one that had just emerged from the mirror, was cold and completely empty. Max called movers and had the chest removed. He never told anyone what happened, but every night he wakes up at 1:05 a.m. with a chilling thought. If he can pull objects out of his past, what else can he pull out? And where did the object he was dragging in a circle go before the chest appeared?